Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever, wherever you may be. Welcome back. It's Chalice on the initiative order, kindly hosted by the man behind the scenes, only lovingly known as D-Dog. Anyone who happens to be watching, please make sure in any stream you see the good Daniel Lade to only refer to him as D-Dog.
Very important.
We'll find his birth certificate, we'll write over it. We've got plans in the work.
I really hope so, at the very least. Right, well, we're here. Look at us. It's Chalice again, and we have these wonderful people here, and we're going to go and jump on in to see what the repercussions, because that was the word I heard one of them use earlier, of all of their clever actions were. But before we do that, we're going to see who they are and go from there. So I'm going to start, because they're next to me on my screen, with Lynn, who's probably not in the direction I'm pointing.
No.
She's next to you on mine, but the opposite direction. So that was very entertaining.
Yeah.
She's next to you, right? Let's put it the other way.
So, hello,
Right.
I'm Lynn.
In a direction.
There we go.
Yeah. And doing sign language now, apparently, for the rest of the session. I play Florance, who got some spikes in the head last session. She's covered in blood, but incredibly happy that Burton and Jack are still with us in the land of the living.
It's a very strong phrasing.
She's pretty tired. Probably not as tired as the other two. But yeah, just happy that the gang's all back together again.
But for how long? Moving along the list, I'm not going to try pointing again, because that was a whole difficult ordeal. I don't use my hands that regularly. Jago.
Hello, I'm Jago. I'm playing Jack. The best way to sum up last session for Jack is the phrase, "I didn't hear no fucking bell." Although, please stay away from that bell. I would rather stay alive. Please don't hurt me.
Please, someone ring the bell.
I'm done. I tap out.
And last but by no means least, hey.
Yeah, well, I am Kay Purcell. She, they pronouns. I'm playing Burton. They, them. Your mage rat. Does a lot of enchantment magic, but as we just learned, also has a touch of necromancy. And I'm sure that won't mean anything. They're also pretty tired. A little beat up.
Sleepy times.
They've had worse.
Have they?
I imagine they've been through a couple, like, not as physically worse. Traumatically, no, that was a level of trauma for that. But you know, the physical.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's something. It keeps me happy.
Press to doubt.
Yeah.
I intend to make it worse as soon as we get to chatting. So
wonderful. That's what I like to hear. And I'm me. I'm Ben. I am your joyless jester. Today, I've just been jealously judging Juicy Jago over here. I'm sticking with it. It's what we came up with before we got started. Thank you, Jago. And on the scariest thing we will see tonight being that movement, jump on in to our opening. Fire away, D-Doc. You're just angry. Sorry, our resident tech guru was annoyed at me.
Mr. D-Dog himself.
Mr. D-Dog himself. Hello, everyone. Right. Welcome back. We're going to dive straight on in with a short recap to see where we are. So, exactly 3 weeks ago, or these poor unfortunate souls, about 20 minutes ago, we found the wonderful Burton, Florance, and Jack deep in the confines of a abandoned cargo vessel. What they found aboard was, to the very least to say, unusual. The tortured remains of a young woman, stripped of her face, much of her flesh, and every single last piece of self-will and preservation they had. A slave to something they called the Smiling Man. They had torn across a ship, and to the best of the knowledge of our three intrepid investigators, changed everyone who stepped on board, removing their face and leaving them stuck in the last instants of their lives. Thankfully, for them, these three came along, fought their way through the ship, and freed her. They hope. Breaking whatever spell may have been on her, and, in theory, releasing her from whatever purgatory she existed in. The ship around them, not confining to the laws of physics or nature or anything in those regards, bending and breaking and twisting and shifting with every moment, taking them into untold black depths that should not exist within the confines of a ship's hold. And it was in those black depths that Jack and Burton nearly died. Despite the best efforts of a plucky silverfish, Jack would have drowned in those waters, never to be seen again. But thankfully, or questionably thankfully, depending on who you ask, they had made an erstwhile ally in the embodiment of Justicar Canehurst, one of the lead inquisitors of the Church of the Severed Light, Church of the Martyr, who dove in after them and dragged them both out. Now we find them...
myself out, thank you.
Sorry. Dragged the big one out.
Only one of us is a corpse at this point in time.
At which point, the three of them return back to the two ships, the Biscuit and the Unforgiven, to reunite with their colleague, Florance, and the other Inquisitors. We come to them now as they stand deck of the Biscuit. Sergeant Forsell, as the last remaining crew member of that ship, looking on and trying to work out exactly what in this martyr-forsaken waters happens next. That is where we come back. And we'll start, before we jump on in, by asking each of our wonderful players for a very quick description of who they are, what they're thinking right now, and what they look like, just to provide some context for those who may not have seen this before, maybe joining us for the first time. And because I enjoy deeply putting people on the spot, Jago, go.
Hello, Jack is the longest running character of this group in particular so far. Almost came to a very swift end. Anyway, appearance-wise, this large, unnaturally large humanoid shape is the best way to describe it, with a rocky external skin with, in the sunlight at least, strange poppy buds sort of poking out of the cracks in between, with a varying degree of control over these plant-like limbs. Yeah, Jack is, in terms of what he's thinking, is a lot of what and ow. Mostly what ow what ow and continuing so on and so forth.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Lynn.
Hello. So I play Florance Lane, who is one of the Wardens. She has been tasked, along with Burton, partner in, not strictly speaking, crime, to find these rogue channelers, and is currently, well, found Jack, and is now in this mess. Florance herself, she wears your Warden's uniform, usually takes quite good care of it, but after last week's session, she did cut her head, and it's a bit bloodied and a bit misdamp, but she's got a bow and arrow, and now a rifle to accompany her. As for what she's thinking in this moment, several things are going through her head. First and foremost, I need a drink. I need a nap. I need to see if the others are okay. What happened to the others? I need to tell them about this helmet. I need a drink. Pretty much going round on loop.
It's a good list to just loop. There's a lot of looping thoughts here. And see if those loops continue.
So Burton is a rather tall individual, non-binary, little over 6 feet, probably close to 6'2", kind of long and lanky, shaggy blonde hair that's currently soaking wet. They're sopping wet, and it just makes the fact that they are, thin as a rope that much more obvious. They have collared shirt, suspenders under a waistcoat with a greatcoat over that, and a silver pocket watch, rather like this one, but with far more little buttons and dials on the edge. That is actually their grimoire, because they are a magic user. They are a channeler. They are currently standing as tall as they can, keeping themselves upright by sheer force of will. They got some not fun conversations they need to have. They've got some serious conversations they need to have, and they are mostly right now just focused on keeping that stiff upper lip, providing that, sense of security and leadership that the folks on this ship are going to want and need, because they just lost some of their folks and saw some really terrible things, and it's their job to keep together, but they just cannot wait to finish this chat so that they can get into the captain's quarters, which the three of them have kind of taken over, and just collapse. They want the whiskey, they want a blanket, and they're ready to just sleep.
And with those thoughts in mind, we return. Thank you very much, Kate. We find the three of you stood on the surface, on the deck of the Biscuit. The cool, salty wind runs across you. For those with open wounds, the salt in the air is unpleasant, to say the absolute least. But the cool nature of the wind is soothing. The fog that had surrounded you so entirely has faded, vanished into the wind, and now you just have the cool night air waiting for you. The waters run out as far as you can see, until ending in every direction with a land mass in the far distance. In the direction you were going, you know that you are about half a day to a day bad weather from Morristown, the destination where you believe your quarry to be. Next to you, or next to the Biscuit, floats the larger sloop, the Unforgiven. The flag of the Inquisition and the bloody crow of the House Canehurst floats, just flapping merrily, or merrily, as with anything with Inquisition, in the wind. Above, very dim stars glitter. It is, rather ironically, quite a pleasant evening. The night is cool, easy. If it wasn't for everything that happened earlier, it would almost be a nice night. Right now, a gangplank runs between the Skit and the Unforgiven, connecting the two. On one end, you see Kanehurst stood talking to a small retinue of other Inquisitors, his back to you as numerous other members of the ship mill around, making everything ready to start moving again. Pascal is stood near you, thankful to see each of you again, but very clearly mourning the loss of his crew members, who, without knowledge, you would assume to have served with for at least some time, enough to send a sour look across his face, one you can see being very bitterly held back from any further outbursts of emotion. And that's when we come to the three of you, stood in a small circle, working out what comes next. So please, what does come next? Other than a collective sigh of relief.
Think
It
Jack,
stinks.
who is
It stinks.
one of the few people taller than Burton, feels like a tug on his ill-fitting sleeve. We got the biggest clothes we could. I'm real sorry.
It's okay.
To try to like get him to lean down a little like that. And Burton, who's normally pretty respectful about spaces and asking first, just immediately goes up and puts both hands on either side of Jack's face and is like, doing this all around.
It's stingy. Still very, it's very raw. Don't quite know how raw.
The flesh is still tender. There are tears. You can see great rents where the skin should be. Much
Yeah.
akin. Sorry, come.
You look like a Swiss cheese, but
Thank you.
wrong.
No, that's not a thank you.
No.
I mean,
Where the skin was once, you can already see small roots and pieces of greenery pushing in through, trying to re-knit the body. There's actually layers of it building up slowly. You can see the movement is tougher, as if something's slowing it all down. Jack, you feel exhausted. And anyone who's looking at you can see that as much as anything else. Even the petals that would normally be starting to bloom are wilted and faded. And there is a mass of mycelium running across the interior of your mouth, slowly forming a bed for the roots to take place, followed by the vines that start to knit everything else back. It isn't a pleasant thing to watch, and it definitely isn't a pleasant thing to feel.
I mean, it's still better than what your face was like off.
Right.
Like it was like that much left. I'm sorry, I got there as fast as I could.
No, I confused why he turned into a fish in the end, but
I was running out of air.
And fair enough. Yeah, that was an experience.
Yeah. We gotta keep it together for these folk, but we can.
Yeah.
Jack, you were out of it. Do you remember anything of?
I remember getting down there.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, Kanehurst has cut my face open. It's kind of a snap.
Yeah,
Right.
we're gonna have to have a little talk. But
Shall we go to the cabin? I think there might be whiskey there. We can sit down.
I don't think it
yeah,
works
I
anymore.
got one more thing I got to do. But if you can find that bottle, Florance, you'd just be my.
Yep, on it. I'm going, and I'm just going to stride very purposefully towards the captain's cabin
And just hover
to
for a
find
minute.
whiskey.
Hover for a minute. Not know
It's a very easy thing to find. You swing the door open, and inside there's the cabinet that you secured. In fact, I seem to remember it was quite heavily secured.
We're not losing that whiskey.
Yep, there were priorities made. See everything laid out, it's ready, able. You'd already made your way through a good amount of it, so there is only really the the bottom shelf stuff at the moment.
Matter.
It's
It'll
liquor.
do. If anything, it's probably higher proof. You just don't
Burn things
want to know
away.
why.
Yeah.
No open flames 2 hours after drinking. But that's easily picked up.
Cool. In which case, I will get the whiskey. I will get some glasses. I will just hastily arrange some chairs at the table and just wait for the others to come in. But I'm gonna sit down and pour myself a drink.
Well earned.
Anything for yourself, Jack, before we go off to see where Burton is going?
I'm gonna hover where I see the two sort of go off in different directions. Hover where I am for a minute. Just gonna hover for the moment.
Booth or Burton?
It's there's a difficult choice.
I feel like I'm
Friends-
gonna make the choice easier because Burton's headed towards Canehurst.
Oh, that only makes it more complicated. That only makes it more complicated. Shit.
You watch as Burton strides towards the gangplank, and they start kind of walking straight up it. The moment your feet... Sorry, go on.
I start up it so long as that's okay. Like, I'm not doing anything. If it's more polite to wait, like to signal and wait, like Burton knows the
etiquette.
isn't the word.
The etiquette of the scenario would normally be to ask to be allowed on board.
That's what Burton would do.
So, awesome. You just wander up to the base of the gangplank. Canehurst is still paying more attention to the people directly in front of him. You can hear conversation happening, but in hushed voices. You can't work out what they're saying. He is now holding his helmet under his arm again now, his sword's quite happily pushed into the side. Depends how long you want to wait, or if you want to interrupt.
I think Burton will. It's kind of that thing of if you wait too long, you seem like you're trying to eavesdrop, and they're very much not trying to eavesdrop, and they'll wait as long as feels like polite, and then they won't be like, "Hey," but they'll do like the.
A few more seconds pass. Give it about 5, 10. You just kind of quietly wait. When one of the men directly across from Canehurst, a fairly tall, balding man with quite an elaborately waxed mustache and 2 heavy steel gauntlets, just nods past him down towards yourself. Canehurst twists in place and looks down. Yes?
I wanted to, if you wouldn't mind, have a quick conversation. I won't take much of your time, I promise.
He just turns back to the others, mutters something under his breath, and nods. Upon your ship, then.
Sir?
At which point he makes his way down the gangplank towards you. I assume you're heading off into the captain's quarters?
No.
No? Wonderful.
Nope. Just trying to find a spot kind of away. I assume most people on the ship are going to give us a decently wide berth, which is kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yep. You can easily just make your way up to the prow of the ship where everyone will kind of quietly step away. The 2 or 3 people that are left. Which is easily achieved. You make your way over there, and you just kind of stood at the end of the ship with Canehurst. From where you are, it doesn't take you long to notice several of the Inquisitors from his vessel start picking up small crates and boxes and making their way across the deck of the Biscuit and start clambering onto the cargo ship.
I'm going to glance to Forsyll. Just like, does he seem to be okay with this? Does he seem upset with this?
He's watching them very carefully. You can see him kind of trying to inspect the boxes as they go past, trying to work out what they might be. You do see a dawning realization on his face after a couple of moments, where he kind of grimaces and just straightens his back, places his arms behind, and just seems to kind of stand there tapping his foot.
Yeah. I can assume this is a we helped you out, so we're taking a tax.
Possibly.
Okay. Also, is it fair to say you said that cargo ship was pretty full of wine? Could we have grabbed a couple of bottles on our way out?
There's no reason why not.
Okay. So if the whiskey don't do it, we can at least have a chaser.
You are prepared for whatever future may come.
Excellent.
We have options.
Yes, drown our sorrows.
But as I say, you stand at the prow of the ship. Kanehurst doesn't so much stand as just loom in front of you. There is a distinct look on his face of exhaustion. You can see heavy bags under his eyes. But you also get the impression that they're never not there.
First off, I just wanted to say thank you. You proved yourself to be someone of honor, and you kept your word, and we wouldn't be alive if not for you, and I just wanted to make sure I said thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for your work.
Well, that was something I want to talk about just real quick, but I understand the chain of command, and I ain't got no right to be speaking freely, but would you humor me for...
I have no power.
No,
We serve
but-
different masters. You may speak as freely as you choose.
I heave a really big sigh and see kind of the math going on behind their brain. Stop fighting us.
I'm not fighting.
I mean, I don't mean you I mean, Wardens in the Inquisition, I know we do stuff different, but we both serve the people of Chalice. I know your lot ain't got no love of channelers, but imagine how much we could accomplish if we worked together, shared information, stopped spying on each other.
I'm not in a position to change the ways of the Inquisition. I am merely a tool to be used as needs be. And I have my orders as you have your orders.
That's fair.
I have no love for your kind. I have no illusions of that, and I make no attempt to hide it. I severely believe that every single one of you should be either in service to Chalice or removed from it. You are in service to Chalice, as I am. We are tools, you and I. There are those who are not. And you can... His eyes don't twist to Jack, but you do get a briefest flicker. And those who are not are dangerous. They have proven this time and time again. I repeat the number, 124 lives.
I don't disagree. I just, as one of those people,
I do
try
you
to do a
deserve.
better job of finding them and helping them.
We have already reached out to them. We have offered them the olive branch. We have tried to bring them back into the fold. And you know what they did? They spat in our hand, Warden. They killed dozens of us. They set fire to a city. The time for negotiations with these people have passed.
What are your intentions about him right now?
He is in your care, and I will respect the office of the Wardens by not gutting him where he stands here and now. He has also done a service to Chalice and is one name closer to redemption in my mind. He merely has 123 more.
Fortunately for us, seems like he really wants to pay that tab, so thank you. I just wanted to check.
I will continue to follow you, Warden.
Understand?
Not because I do not doubt your abilities, but because I fear the repercussions of if a soft hand is used. I will not see more needless death. And I will kill one to save thousands every single time.
I understand.
He looks over to the ship. What you have done there is noble. And for that you have my respect, which is not easily earned. So travel with at least that weight off your shoulders. I hold no hatred to you as an individual. Continue your service to Chalice, I shall continue mine, and pray that we never find ourselves on opposite sides of that.
Trust already am.
Can I see them having their conversation before I'm sitting?
It's hard to not see where they are because they are just on the far end of the ship. So you can kind of see them talking. You have no idea what they're talking about, however.
Okay. Am I allowed to kind of sidle out and sort of make it clear that I would also like to speak to Canehurst because he is a popular man today?
You are more than able to walk over to them.
Okay.
In theory, so is Jack if he so feels the need.
I don't want to.
Let's hold a conference.
Don't overstep, but I would like to clear the air on a few things, Mr. Canehurst.
In which case,
As you start
gonna
to step out, there is actually a light misty rain starting to fall on the area,
Mhm.
enough to start to sodden your clothes and take a kind of unpleasant chill at this point.
I'm already damp. I don't care.
Are you?
Am I turned so I can see her coming, or is her stepping up going to surprise me?
It's fairly quiet on the waters. You can hear her footsteps coming.
Right.
You can also hear a lot of movement on the ship.
Okay. I think Burton, hearing the footsteps, glances back and then says rather quickly, trying to get it in before she arrives. Glances to the helmet. I'm sure you know what I am, what I can do. Thank you for not announcing it. People get weird when they know. I don't want people to fear me.
You're a channel that comes with your blood, unfortunately.
Well, different levels of it.
I won't say anything if I am not needed to. Which is about the time that Florance arrives.
Hey, partner.
Hey, you all right? Ish.
Yep.
As well as, everything. And,
Just wrapping up some business.
fair. We found some whiskey if you want to.
You are
mean,
a hero.
Aw. Thanks.
Kind of gestures like, we're taking up the man's time.
That's okay. We're gonna just sort of lean over. Well, not lean over, but sort of salute Canehurst and say, "I have some questions, if I may, sir."
You see him kind of take a very steady intake of breath. You have no idea how old this man is. He has the countenance of someone in their late 40s, maybe early 50s, but the way he moves doesn't really indicate that. He has very kind of thick graying hair, which is tied back in a kind of small ponytail. You get the feeling that there is nothing he wants to do more than simply step off of the ship and be done with everything for at least the next 10 minutes. But his tired features just relent.
Sorry to bother you, sir, but your helmet. I couldn't help but notice that I did put it on. I'm sorry, but it enabled me to see through the mists. But how does it do that? And how did it stop the woman? And how did it harm Burton and Jack while they were looking at you, or you at them? I just curiosity. I'd like to know.
He holds the helmet close, and I'm now going to ask everyone to draw 3 cards because you're going to need to make quite a skill check there.
I've already drawn 3 for the start. Can I draw 3 more?
Oh, that's fine. No,
I have
you
6.
have the 3 you've drawn.
Gosh darn it.
Oh,
And I
no.
ask you to make a going to say convince at difficulty 14.
All of us, or just me?
Just you. You're
Just me.
asking the question.
Okay. Right.
Like to ask if I can help, but in this moment, I don't think Burton would.
It's just like, you did what?
Okay, so convince is a 2. That comes to intellect, which makes 3. I can maths. I can do this.
Well done.
I just need to flip
10
a
out
card.
of 10 with maths again.
Thanks.
Hmm.
That makes 10.
Okay.
Is Burton wanting to help? I know you said this probably not, that they're kind of bowing out of this particular...
I think they were real excited to know more until Florance started asking very specifics, and then they kind of wilted a little. And
Question.
I don't think they're gonna.
It's that sort of moment when you're like, oh, that was a bad idea.
Like,
Would you like to cheat, Lynn?
I don't have anything that would make a 3 to a 14.
How badly would you like to fail?
You can cheat to make it less painful.
Wait, it wasn't 3, it was a 7, but still a 3.
I mean, that's a pretty 7 to 14 is a pretty significant.
That's a
That
rough
is a
one.
critical fail.
Ooh, okay. Maybe we should...
Painhurst.
What if I make a 10?
So I bring it
That'd
to a 13.
Yeah.
It would still be a failure, but not a critical failure.
Not a critical failure.
He might be
That's-
less
I'll
pissed
do
at
that.
us.
I'll do
yeah,
that then.
that's a start.
Okay. I will only slightly fail instead of critically fail.
He grips the helmet. Faith.
Faith.
It is a relic of the martyr. It brings with it certain abilities.
Florance, when that is said, you watch Burton, who they're outdoorsy. They're pretty tan. They go so pale that their freckles come out. Like you can see all the freckles, and they even look a little bit green. And there's like a pod. That's. I'm sorry, sir. That's a relic of martyr.
Correct. We
You seem-
believe
Just try to hold it together, just like.
we believe she wore it on the fields of Weast. We now carry it with us as protection. It has been my charge for the last 20 years.
20.
Let's go.
The rain is starting to intensify now, even to the point where it's starting to kind of show in kind of the heavy white robes that cover his armor. Even he gestures past to the captain's quarters. If you wish to continue talking, perhaps we should go inside.
Yeah, that would be sensible. We found some whiskey if you partake.
I don't drink.
Hey, we have water.
We've gone.
Okay.
And he turns and just starts walking, his heavy gauntleted feet impacting against the wood with distinct footfall as he passes straight by Jack into the hold of the captain's quarters and kind of leaving you just stood there for a second.
I'm just gonna like gesture for him to sit down, right?
You guys go in first. I'm gonna follow it after we.
I thought you were already in there.
No, I just went hovering. I've been waiting for a moment, and it's just like, no, not right time, not right time, not right time, not right time.
These flowers.
I've been, yeah, there you go. Look at how twilty they are.
If anyone walks in and there's a little bottle with a bunch of poppies sticking out of it, I'm going to be very confused.
Burton heads in and just kind of stands just by the door and is still just looking gaunt.
I'm gonna pour Florence, I'm going to pour Florence a drink. I'm going to pour Burton a drink. I'm also going to pour myself a drink. And Jack. And I know Kanehurst doesn't drink, but I'm going to say, sit down, sit. Because his looming will make me uncomfortable.
Stand in the corner of the room staring. No, he walks straight around the far end of the table, positioning himself so he's looking at the door, and settles in. He unbuckles his sword and just places it on the table in front of him as he sits. It is the blade itself, from kind of hilt to tip, is about 5 feet long. And you can see it's fucking enormous. Pardon the phrase. But the hilts and the scabbard themselves are actually very plain. This is something that you pick up very quickly about his manner of dress. Despite the, again, countenance he travels with, he is incredibly Spartan in its appearance. His armor is unadorned. The robes are just plain white. The only major alteration that demonstrates his office at all is the white rose of the Inquisition on his chest plate, and further down you can see a signet ring that bears a crow embedded around a small ruby. And of course, the helmet itself is quite richly ordained with filigree, silver filigree on the front, as described previously. But he settles in. Just kind of, you can see a breath of relief pass from him as he does sit.
Burton, are you all right?
I know you aren't fond of channelers. Are you hurting? I could help.
I mean, those spikes in.
I stop containers. I'll get you. Don't worry.
That's fine. You crack on. I'm just gonna self-medicate with some whiskey.
You sip away. He just kind of just sit there in silence for a few seconds, eyes just clicking around each of you, taking in the room around you, before falling very squarely on Jack. Why?
Deep question. And why? What in particular?
Everything. From the moment we started following you until this very instance. Why?
Before I was this, I was normal. And then some group took me, made me this. I told you this before. And the world of Chalice being what it is, or the country, I didn't see much chance of surviving, so I did what any self-respecting coward would do and tried to just quietly wander out. The group I had been given to do that made a royal fuckery of it. And that deal we were offered, none of us knew about it except minus Sybil until we were already on your ship. If I had known about it, I wanted this to stop from the start, from the first person.
Then why didn't you stop it? You are clearly capable of doing so. The first night we tracked you, 3 men died. One was drowned in a puddle of mud. Another shot in the head. You killed a dog. A few days later, you burned a town nearly to the ground. You then traveled to another place, where you killed dozens of Inquisitors, several Protectorate officers, and left numerous corpses in your wake of just normal men and women, civilians of Chalice. And then you came to Saushert, where you did it again. We got the child away from all of this, from the chaos you carried with you everywhere you traveled. And then you killed the Wardens protecting them and set fire to the city again. And you're telling me now that you wanted it to stop? Every report I have of you, Jack Cooper, tells me that you could have stopped this. You nearly stopped Traeger, a man almost as dedicated to the cause as I am. Were you powerless to do so, or did you simply choose not to?
Burton will put themselves in front of Jack and just say calmly, that woman down there wanted it to stop, too.
Burton.
Are you as possessed as she was? In which case, maybe we should free you here and now.
I don't think so. What do you
Florance is going to bristle at this.
Burton. He is speaking the truth. But I'm not here to defend myself. I'm here to, before I'm shunted off this mortal coil, pay back even a fraction of that tab. Because I didn't see a way out until from after those first people on that night, it was run or die. And that's all I had was run or die, and I am a coward, so I ran. And then I heard that Sybil was offered a deal, and turned that down. And like you said on the boat, spat in your face with it. I knew that was a thing. That was an option. That was the martyr herself had God. That was the golden moment, and he ripped it in front of my face without even giving any of us the option to choose a different path. I just want that boy safe.
Then where is he?
I wish I could tell you, because I don't know. But
What will you do with the boy? And this is directed at Canehurst. I mean, what significance could this child, have? All I know is that he's a channeler with perhaps abilities more out of the ordinary than what we've seen, but he's just a boy, surely.
Make another convince check for me. You may add all of the convince ranks you share, everyone at the table, together for this test.
Maths.
So
Okay.
whatever your skill rank in it is, if you have it, tell Lynn and she can add it to her flip.
Well,
If you
also
have
get my
no
charm.
rank, just your ranks,
Just my
unfortunately.
rank. Okay,
I got
That's so
2.
charming. You got 2?
that's my +3.
3 plus 2 plus 3 equals 8. Thanks, guys.
You are looking. This isn't going to be simple
Oh boy.
for a 16.
So we need at least an 8 to flip.
Fire and will.
It's just an 8! Yes!
We like to see. That's what we like.
Kanehurst doesn't shift in his seat. He just flicks his eyes to the two wardens at the table. In the interests of sharing information, his eyes flick to Burton. The Inquisition is interested in the child because, as far as we can tell, they were not born a channeler, they were made one.
Like Jack.
Disturbingly so.
Wonderful.
But he shows no outward mutations. He says, kind of gesturing at the flowers and the rock. We believe there is a group experimenting, trying to create channelers artificially. We
Then
hope
surely it would be better to ask Jack here to help you find them than attempt to destroy Jack.
as
He'd
I
be
say,
doing us a better service alive.
there is a reason he's still breathing. If we can find Sam, hopefully Child has more information. Perhaps some secret lies with him that will allow us to track down more information, find whoever it is, and destroy them.
But what of
It
the
is not-
channelers after you've destroyed this group?
They will be offered the same rights as any other. Join Chalice. Serve it. Live better in that service.
And if they wish to leave?
They may leave the country. They may not stay here. And if they refuse either option, they will go the way that we always have to. Do not take me as some butcher, Florance of the Wardens. I do not take joy in my work. I am simply good at it. I will be the first to lay my sword down when this fight is over.
I'd consider it a great kindness, knowing it's nothing I can ask, that when it comes time to give them the option, you might let me know so that I can give some first-hand experience.
We shall see where the path leads us.
Thank you.
What do you know, Jack?
With regards to the group, assumedly the same group that made us, nothing other than foggy memories of dark places I don't want to go back to. Nothing that's useful.
You say dark places you don't wish to return to. Could you?
Stop. In what sense? Physically, I can.
Is it that you don't want to think of them? You don't want to return to the memory, or simply you know where they are, you just don't wish to go back?
I don't know where they are, and the memory, as far as I'm concerned, I know nothing. In all honesty, I know. I was beyond. I know nothing. My life before whatever happened there is gone. in my head. There's memories of dark place with cables that stuck into my body from anywhere you can think of, and then fire and the road, and here we are.
Jack, what do you believe the Inquisitor's duty truly is?
It's become a very at the very least to keep citizens safe, and I won't deny you've been doing anything to the contrary, because we are dangerous and can be.
Our duty, above all things, is to bring light to the darkest places of the world and obliterate that darkness. If there is a darkness you fear to tread, then walk with us.
Are you asking me to join you?
I'm asking you to work with us, as you are working with the Wardens.
I accept.
Good. He does sit back in the chair at that point, his hands resting further from the sword on the table. We have heard rumor, and again he turns back to Burton as he says this, of a channeler in the city of Dis, one talented at extracting, removing, and destroying memories. They've eluded our grip for the longest time, but perhaps if there is something that lurks in your mind, Jack Hooper, we may redouble our efforts, find them, and see what light we can shed in your darkness.
With consent, maybe help with some of that, to at least prepare you for it, if you're willing.
Yes.
In which case, I feel we may have an accord. In the spirit of fairness, what is it you wish to know, Jack Hooper? Do you have any questions of me?
I simply just, when we find Sam, that I want to be able to, whatever work is to be done with him, that I am there and present at all times, and I know I have all access to all information that he has become my son through this journey, and I just want him, as any father only wants to see his boy safe.
I need one person to pass a scrutiny check at difficulty 14. Whoever has the highest.
Oh god, who's got scrutiny?
Am I good at scrutiny?
I got -3 cunning. This is on y'all.
Cunning. I have 4 scrutiny.
I
I
believe
have
it
2,
right now.
so
I'm
go
like,
for it.
Whatever
You want me
he
to do the
says,
flip?
Yep.
Yeah, roll them
Okay.
bones.
4 scrutiny.
Just need 10.
4 plus 5 is 9.
That's. Can you do it? Can you do a little cheatsy and make that better?
Can I cheat for her? I assume not.
Yeah, she
Can it be a
No, not
Can it be
really.
Can it be a group?
We're all
It's
in
a-
this conversation.
We're all kind of looking at this.
I
man.
do rely on my partner for
There's a
this
bit
kind
of a
stuff.
group scrutiny,
Yeah, like-
doodad. There's
Yeah,
like,
but-
As a one-off,
The
which will
negotiation.
never be able to happen again. Yes.
Let's go.
You get a king.
Let's
Yay.
go.
That
You're
makes
welcome,
14.
Ben. You can torture me with that later. I will
If
regret that
only you
decision.
had-
I know.
If
Oh
only you
my.
had a king. Tee.
This is only the slightest break in his face, but you notice it. Upon the words father and son, his face flickers, and you see the briefest instance of a pained expression appear. One that softens his disposition slightly towards Jack.
Stop smiling, you idiot. Stop smiling.
Agreed.
Thank you.
However, upon reaching this, you are to travel to the closest chapel and swear yourself to the Inquisition.
I will.
You're to inform them you have my authority to act on this manner. In this manner. Do not disappoint me. I do not forgive.
So Florence is going to sense that things are suddenly got a little bit tense, and sort of change the subject ever so slightly. And, so you said the name Sybil, the woman in the boat, the one who was screaming, also mentioned his name. Who is he? You said that he broke a deal.
He was the de facto ringleader of that group. He
I don't mean to interrupt. Is this a conversation you'd like to stay here for, sir? I don't want to keep you from your...
You will know when my business here is done. Do not worry.
All right. Sorry. Continue.
Sybil was the ringleader. He had connections with the Freed, and I don't even remember how I got in contact with them again. Another foggy part where it only starts coming together very recently. He was the one who was sent to shepherd us away, and look how fucking well he did at that.
Why would the woman be yelling his name if he's just a people smuggler, essentially?
He's not a channeler as far as I'm aware, so in terms of spellcraft and that, I don't know what he would know, unless there's a way for non-channelers to do things of that nature.
He prone to leading folks astray?
Didn't know him outside of this job he had, and if I was to write a review, yes, I'd say he is prone to doing that.
Okay, that might be good. All right.
That how much? Just gonna look out the windows, see how much of the crew is around, or at all.
Of your crew,
Oh,
there
no.
are...
Of this lot, yeah, but just the general.
We're right here.
I know you guys.
I mean the ship's crew.
Yeah.
There is only Sergeant Purcell and 2 people left.
Oh.
None of which are near you. You can still see a small string of people making their way from the Unforgiven to the cargo vessel. No longer carrying those boxes, but instead a long string.
Just a long. Oh,
Or more precisely, a long line.
There's something beyond. Don't know what to say. It's beyond what, but it is beyond. Beyond Chalice, beyond this world. It's. I don't. You had the child for. You had Sam for. How long before they went missing?
Before you just killed 2 men, stole them.
Before any of our stuff, that missing. I assume missing.
We didn't know Sam before that.
Okay.
We had heard rumors. We raided a small coven. Found the child briefly before they vanished.
Right.
They then reappeared on our notes a year or so later. We've been tracking the Freed for a very long time. It's where I actually first had the name Sybil pass across my desk.
Okay. I don't. So, Sam's abilities, in some way, let him. I don't know how best to describe it, other than he turns you invisible, and you can pass him and things of his choosing invisible, and allows you to pass through walls, I guess is the best way I can describe it. That I imagine that's how he escaped your notice before, but there's something else. The first time he used his abilities on us. There was the world was sort of monotone. It was grey. Things weren't quite hard to describe. We were in a field of poppies, tall poppy. They weren't there anymore. It was just plain hills and a ring of purple light, which, when we spoke, it drew closer, and he gave us the impression that that was a bad thing, so we stopped speaking at the time. We don't. Whenever he takes us into that space, we don't know why, but it seems like a bad idea to talk. This was in Poppyborough. I don't, but there's been something else. A creature? I trust, before I say any of this, I understand how mad it sounds, and I would not believe, and I could believe I was insane if things weren't affecting other people. It was not hallucinations that are affecting me, it is affecting the world around me, and all of us are seeing the same thing. There, some creature that is an amorphous blob of hands, and it can just pull itself through walls and reality. It looks like it just appear. There was a warehouse in Saushert, thank you. It attacked us there. It's linked to Sybil somehow, but it's only done that recently, so I don't know what that means for Sybil, whether it's gone, whether his link to that thing is corrupt and is making him different, or whether that's just how he's been. But fucking hell, I'm talking about monsters from beyond another fucking dimension, but I've seen this, and other people in the group have all seen this and can tell you the same story.
Ainhurst, have you received any reports of anything like this coming?
Sounds like some kind of fucking fairy tale, but I'm talking the truth.
I don't doubt you. I just want to know if the Inquisition have heard of anything like this before.
You said that all the stuff we saw on that ship was very usual for this?
It seemed there was obsidian shards connected with it, and when you had lifted your foot at one point, your footprint left an obsidian. The foot where your foot was, there was an obsidian outline of your boot. So that's what immediately made me think, right, well, it's connected in some way. It might not be, but maybe that's...
Oh, so we've got
Gainhouse.
poppies, Sybil, faceless people, vines, whatever was going on in that ship, mists, this smiling man that the woman mentioned. There's so much.
Reflections seem to be another thing. It would a precursor to it would be seeing yourself in a reflection in a reflective surface, smiling when you weren't. You know you're not smiling. You stand a normal face, but big smile. In your reflection is just smiling back. The smiling man is another thing that kind of spooked me to it. Whatever that refers to, maybe the big hands entity is the smiling man, but
What of the others, your traveling companions?
Oh, yeah. What of my question?
Sorry, I do apologize.
But if you don't want to talk about it, at least
I was going to make
acknowledge
you do
it,
a check. I do
Cainhurst.
apologize. Again, I'm going to need a convince check. It is
Okay.
going to go down slightly, down to a 12.
Okay.
because we're all being very sharey.
That's all right. Yeah, we're bonding.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Do we get
it's
to add hours to help
group
out?
therapy
Or?
session. Difficulty 12, you say, and I should have.
If you have a positive skill value, yes, you can add it.
Hey,
Yeah.
3.
you can have 2.
Thank you. So 3 plus 2 plus 3, which I've already got written down, is 8.
So, fire them bones.
8 plus 7 is 15. Yay!
Very nice. We have... What do you know of Sparrowful?
Sparrow. Sorry, you broke up for me. Sparrows.
What do you know of Sparrowful?
Sparrowfall is where you found Sam, to my knowledge.
Roughly a year and a half ago, there was a town deep in the mountains of Seakai, Sparrowful, a small mining settlement. We received reports of people going missing, children vanishing from the streets, and parents being decidedly unresponsive to their loss. Protectorate investigations turned up nothing. Merely people who seemed to not care about their own loss. So the Inquisition investigated. When one of our own missing, son of one of the church, the son of the church. It wasn't deemed as wholly dangerous, so several acolytes were sent, led by at that time, acolyte Robert Cool. In his investigations, he found a severe infestation of an alchemic cult. Was kidnapping children, experimenting on them. Led by, I believe, a Jacob Moorhead. At least that's what his reports state. This is where things became murky. In his investigations, nearly every single one of his colleagues were murdered. Of the 6 acolytes that were sent, Robert Cole and 2 others survived. Sarah Hale and Alexander Dubois. We also lost a senior warden, apparently executed by Jacob Moorhen trying to escape, though we have no way of corroborating that. We only have eyewitness testimony from Robert Cole, who is of doubtful trust. When we arrived, summoned as we were by him, we found a small number of survivors, all of which were suffering deeply with alchemical poisoning, warping of the mind, violent mania, and an apparent exposure to the unnatural. Robert Cole reports that a creature was summoned through a rift in the air that spawned obsidian shards and stank of purple poppies, the same smell that perpetuated around all the poppy borough. Apparently he killed the creature and found little more of use, except a book, a small tome written in a language we don't understand, bound in white leather. Whatever we did with that tome, it refused to stay gone. We burned it, threw it into the ocean, destroyed it, cut it into pieces, and every single time it returned to Robert. We did what we had to Sparrowfall, to stop the infestation spreading. It is my deepest regret we could save nothing. For the last year and a half, Robert Cole has been watched in the penitent cells of the Shining Peak. We have deemed him worthy of service once more, not a threat to the peoples of Chalice, and he is back in the streets doing the work of the martyr. I only hope that that does not come back to bite us. I did advise otherwise. But what you're describing isn't new information. It's traveling across the country, however, is worrying. You can hopefully now understand the zealous nature of my investigation. Should you have any further information, Jack, it would be incredibly warranted to share.
I believe that's all the information I have to share, but should anything useful come up, I will inform you or make sure it gets to you.
None of your traveling companions demonstrated any unusual symptoms, any changes? No alteration to what they were when you met them, to what they were when you parted with them.
It was some Edelyn, which I'm sure you're aware of. That's what I don't know what happened to her, other than she was shot to death 1 minute. The next, she's coming back with silver blood, and has died since, and keeps getting up. The wounds heal over with silver, and that's about as damned it. She takes on as if nothing happened. I don't know if that's related. Sorry, I kind of slipped my mind, because, you know, kind of, you saw to that.
She died well.
I was gonna thank you for. It's how she would have wanted to go. Rather.
Then you're leading them, make another scrutiny check. Difficulty 20.
Are they helping again?
Yeah.
Scrutiny
Okay.
that boy!
I only
Give
have
him a
one.
what for?
I've only got one card left to cheat with. Okay, so
Okay.
8 plus
Oh!
13,
That's what we go!
21.
Well, if this is scrutiny, I can't. I have nothing in scrutiny.
Oh, did you say scrutiny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a little,
okay.
I think
So you've got
twos.
nothing in scrutiny,
I got
so...
2? Question mark? Yes.
Okay, so that's 2 plus 3 is 5.
It's still
18. I'm going to cheat this with my last card, which I've saved for a moment like this, which is a queen.
He's lying.
Well, we can
And
tell
on that,
he's...
we're going to break. We will see you all in 5 to 10 minutes. Hello again. Thank you for waiting with us and sitting in whilst we deliberate on what certain people are going to do next. For those of you who may be joining us right now, for a very quick recap, we come to find Burton, Florance, and Jack, our three intrepid wardens, and, well, 2 wardens, and now maybe something else.
Two wardens and an inquisitioner walk into a bar.
Sat aboard the good ship, the Biscuit, out in the far end of the central sea of Chalice. Sat between 2 large vessels, a cargo ship and the Unforgiven, the personal sloop of one Inquisitor Canehurst, Justin Canehurst, to be precise. The 3 of them are currently sat in the captain's quarters discussing the past, potentially the future, and all the various leads that have led most of them to where they sit right now. Primarily, discussion is Jack and his links to the group he was once part of. As we come back in, our good Warden Florance believes she may have caught Justin Canehurst in a lie.
Telling a little fib.
I'm about to kick at the hornet's nest and just go. Sir, without meaning to sound too disrespectful, I do believe you are lying to us on that matter.
His gaze very slowly, very heavily falls on Florance. Which matter?
The matter of Edelyn being dead. I saw your countenance change.
And at that point, Jack will also slowly turn his head.
Edelyn is in the possession of the Inquisition.
Like her corpse, her body?
Edelyn, as in the person. If she can be so called anymore.
But she lives.
Arguably. I removed Edelyn Castron's head from her body, separated it, buried it, and watched it rise. Reformed in metal. Edelyn Castron is not a channeler. She is born of Weast, I believe a priest of dragon gods at Ledro. And she came here to protect. He glances over at Jack. You and your ilk. She stood between me and my quarry, and knew exactly what that meant. She met her proper end with honor. When she rose again, she was detained. She is now a prisoner of the Inquisition, and will remain so until we can determine exactly what it is that draws her back from the light.
See her?
No.
I mean, potentially, with how willingly helpful Jack has been, maybe Jack, you could ask Eddie to cooperate as well, and maybe she would be imprisoned anymore. I don't know, but if Canehurst isn't willing to let you see her, is she being held in Shining Peak?
No.
Then where?
That is the secret of the Inquisition I must hold. What she can do is unakin to anything we have witnessed in any channeler in our 300 years of recording.
Now you're just making me really want to ask if I can.
The dead stay dead, Warden Burton.
I think we just saw that's not always the case.
And would we prefer it to be the case, having just seen what we all have?
Yes, you know that, but we was just getting friendly, talking about sharing information, not so fairly. I'm a channeler. Some of my magic is more innate than it is for most people. Maybe I could...
Surely the Inquisitors have studied Wishian history. Is there nothing in their annals that would describe someone of Edelyn's nature? Anything of the priest of Aledro? Nothing at all with them?
Nothing in our records lies with anything in the West being able to do this. I suppose. Do any of you know of what has happened to West in the last year or so?
I remember
Anyone? Sorry, go on.
there was someone mentioned on our travels something about a bad storm that hit the peaks where the monasteries are, and Eddie seemed pretty shaken up about it.
I am glad that I haven't posted this to Ben yet.
Notes furiously.
Right.
I mean, when Eddie died for the first time, she saw notes on it. I could have said.
About a year, 2 years ago, and we don't have an exact date, a series of catastrophic storms were catalogued traveling across West from the north downwards. It closed off the entire north portion of the continent, killing untold thousands. The storm was so intense that people would freeze to death in their homes. There are still bodies being pulled from the snow even now. I'm worried that West will never fully recover, and due to the isolationist nature of their state, they will not accept any aid from Chalice. However, during that time, the ancient order of Aledro, the dragon priests, several of their monasteries within peaks of West were wiped out, we assume, by the storm. However, there are no bodies. Nothing is left. We will not run the risk that whatever happened there has traveled to Chalice. He reclines slightly, and you can see him taking the measure of every discussion you have had until this particular moment. Anyone, in the same manner as flipped previously, may make a convince check. The difficulty is 20.
Just a little one then.
Just a little one.
I'm happy to lead.
Convince is... Sorry. I'm trying to take notes as well at the same time. I cannot write fast enough. So my convince is 3.
I've got 3 convince plus 3 charm.
Convince.
I have no charm.
2 convince.
So I'd have a 6 plus 2, 8 plus you is 11.
So just a 9.
Just need a 9. Of course. We all know I went an entire episode not flipping higher than a 5.
Just a 9.
Okay. Well, that is an 11 plus 9. No, plus...
Plus
11.
11.
Plus 11.
Yeah,
I can
plus 11.
math,
So
y'all.
Yeah,
22.
22.
Let's go.
We are so convincing.
We look at us, sweet little beans.
It's my earnest face and
Burton has
raw
been
honesty.
Pushing for information sharing. It just kind of takes... They're standing still, takes a half step forward, and it's like, we can work together, or we can work separate.
Stands, sliding his blade off the table and strapping it to his belt. He pulls the helmet back on.
I'm going to wince when I see that because I know, yeah.
Does that?
The second it closes around his head, that same feeling from earlier of distance starts to flood through the room. Immediately, the flowers on yourself, Jack, begin to retreat. The stone slowly and painfully drawing itself back into your skin.
Now that's just impolite.
10 minutes.
Excuse me?
Follow me. Danny, please bring Holly into the call.
Oh, there are so many questions Florence wants to ask Burton right now, but this is more important.
Welcome back, you little so-and-so.
Why do I keep getting put in this call? I'm really confused.
Look,
Oh,
what?
oh, oh.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry.
You can go.
We just did a 22 convince check to get you here.
Yeah, you don't appreciate that. You can just go.
I have no idea.
You're our emotional support, Holly. We just need you here.
Squeeze.
Oh god, I don't do emotional support, not on Wednesdays.
Not on Wednesday. Wednesdays
Any
are
other
my
day of the
off.
week. I'll be
Not
happy
today,
to do it.
stars. Nope, can't do it.
Hold on, let me try to find a brighter background. My background is not bright enough.
Nope, can't do it.
Nope, not today. There we go. That should be good.
Holly,
Hi.
Edelyn,
Okay, hi.
it has been a solid 2 days since you were locked in this room. You still find yourself attached to the wall. Your arms locked in place by wooden slats. Your body held aloft. You're not quite touching the ground, floating ever so slightly off of it, quite literally pinned to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
This is not every moment of your day here. Normally, you are allowed at least the freedom to move around your cell. You are fed, you are watered, you are given the ability to even briefly walk upon a lower deck, away from everyone else, but enough to get air to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Considering everything you know of the Inquisition, you believe you've almost been treated with a degree of civility and kindness, if mostly at the end of Canehurst's gaze. Every time you've seen him, he's been wearing his helmet, and every single time his gaze falls upon you or near you, every part of your body screams out in pain. The metal that holds your form together liquefies, drops from you, exposing bone and cartilage and muscle below. The only thing keeping you alive when he sees it is a rather elaborate wooden head brace You are currently wearing a gorget, almost, that wraps around your neck and pins it in place. As the moment he looks at you, you can feel that wound that separated your head from your body slowly starting to regrow itself, to split you again. Anytime you are locked in the dark, all you can see is what lies on the other side of it. Endless obsidian plains of twisted faces and bodies scream as they pull away from you. Black tumultuous seas cross-marked by apparent lightning and a distant red star. Whenever you breathe, all you smell is death, all you can taste is decay and loss, and the distant, non-ending silence of a million dead voices. It's a mercy that when both rise, all you have is silence and the despair of a lonely room. An hour or two ago, you were put back into place. A selection of 3 people, a woman in a red robe, a man wearing gauntlets, and an old man who wanders constantly with a large man-catcher. Each of them inquisitors, each of them directly serving Canehurst, you know that much.
Mhm.
They restrained you once again into position. They were gentle. They were as kind as they could be. And since that moment, you have just been holding in the dark, waiting. Now, however, you can hear footsteps. From what you believe, a long corridor leads from elsewhere to yourself. You know you're on a ship, that's an inevitability. You feel the ship rocking around you. But you hear 4 steps, or 4 sets of footsteps making their way towards you. 2 significantly loud, heavy. You can almost feel the ship groaning under this, the weight of them advance. You hear his voice. You become very accustomed to Canehurst's voice. Every day he asks you the same questions. Where did you come from? Why are you here? What is your goal? Where is Sam? You have never given him an answer. Least of all to the last question. Partially because you don't know. The last you saw of Sam was as he disappeared into the streets of Saushert with Sybil and Jules and Cicely. You hear his voice first, as I say. Wait here. You don't know who he's talking to. A few moments later, he appears just outside of yourself. His helmet is already on, and you can immediately feel the pain setting in. Edelyn.
Yeah.
I have some people who wish to talk to you. I advise you are more forthcoming with information with them than you have been with me. I repeat to you again, we are only trying to help, to secure the safety, Chalice and its people. I will be listening. I will be waiting. And I will be watching. He turns on his heels and starts to march back out, disappearing from your view. For Burton, Florance and Jack, you've been left in a small room alongside two inquisitorial acolytes, both bedecked in white robes, carrying small flintlock pistols in their belts and ornamental swords. Well, when I say ornamental, I mean impractical. They're fairly plain in their design, but they're clearly not used for anything more than demonstration. Painhurst reopens the door he's just left and stands in front of you. I will be here. Hers is the only cell. You have 10 minutes. Use them well. Swings the door open, and you are revealed a small passage that just runs down straight. There's no lights in there at all. One of the guards picks up a small gas lantern, hands it to you, flicking the knob, which allows the small flame to just burst into life. You have my leave.
Florence is just going to mutter to Jack, "Here's your chance," and sort of nudge him forwards ahead of her.
I'm going. Don't you worry about that.
Kind of give a reassuring pat on the arm, knowing this is probably not easy.
Oh, okay, here we go.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah. Just seen an old friend.
I'm just gonna again pat the arm and just cast a little mental enchantment, just real quick.
It fails.
It fails.
That's fair. Well,
Yeah.
I'm really upset that I clicked that.
Canehurst is there. Canehurst is there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, this is enchantment, but yeah, that makes it like yeah. Oh, never mind. She's done that before we got her. Like awkwardly.
I was just waving to.
This is how I wave.
I wasn't doing nothing.
Okay, let's say hi. I'm going in.
Edelyn, from your perspective, you see a light appear in the corridor. A flickering fire that sends a bright orange swab of illumination down into the room. It appears briefly before it is blocked, and you can see a large silhouette painted against it. A form that is inhumanly large. What you can imagine to be a greatcoat disturbs the silhouette, breaks it up, makes it more difficult to read, almost makes it monstrous in appearance. The footsteps are beyond heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you can hear the ship creaking and groaning under their weight, as if almost too much to bear. And there's a smell on the air. It comes slowly at first, but with every footstep it grows closer, the smell of poppies. Jack, as you turn in front of the cell, please describe to Edelyn what she sees.
So whereas before, Edelyn would be familiar with the state that Jack becomes when he channels, but it's that at least kept. It grew. He grew in size, and rock pulse, formed over his skin. But there was still something underneath that still looked Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Something of that has gone. There's still a little twinkle maybe in the eyes or something, but that aspect has reduced. and it's just been where you could see below where you could see below the skin and musculature. It is just rock and dirt and plant matter is the best way to describe it. It's something imitating, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Okay.
Very well, I'll add, but just a
You can
little,
tell.
just a fraction off in appearance at the least.
Okay.
There are a few other rather large gaping differences, primarily in the face, that several portions of it are missing. I'm trying to remember the exact word for it now. I want to say a Jersey smile, but I think I'm saying using the wrong
Chelsea
phrase.
smile.
Thank you, Chelsea
Yeah.
smile. On one hand, on one side of his face, runs up and towards his ear, where the flesh has been torn open, replaced with a pulsating mass of green vines and small white roots, where you can see small purple poppies starting to twist around in place and come to head. On the other side of his face, in several large tears, you can see similar matter, where the skin has just been rent asunder, torn away as if ripped off by a wild beast, and underneath you can see white roots and mycelium mixing together and slowly writhing in place. Even when his features are still, there is always movement.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not that bad.
There is one singular memory that tears its way into your mind looking at him. And it is of standing several months prior in Poppyborough, of watching a thing with his face unfurl itself like a flower,
Mm-hmm.
and of the rotting mass of liquidated flesh and writhing bone matter that lurked underneath, as the thing, the false Jack, the seeded monstrosity, tore towards you in a verdant mass of lost corpses and bodies and vines. And nothing about what you are looking at right now does anything other than bring you back to that mindset.
I think seeing that, Eddie will definitely start, or at least just like tense up, probably because the first person she's seen that hasn't been Kanehurst or his merry bunch of men, as I'm now calling them. And yeah, she's very confused. She's had a stressful couple of days.
Oh, Tom.
Just a little. She's had a time of it.
Jack, say something.
Hi, Eddie.
I might have. How has Kanehurst managed to get someone to look like? Is this a new tactic of his?
Yes and no. It's me. Fucking hell, this is an odd one.
Yeah, I think Eddie's just very much like me, just very hard to find the words at the moment.
What you're seeing, Jack, is Edelyn is quite literally mounted to the wall. Her arms are spread and locked into wooden manacles, which are literally attached to the wall, giving her no ability to move. The same is true for her legs, and a heavy wooden gorget runs around her neck, pinning her in place. She couldn't move if she wanted to. Across her body, almost akin to you, where once there would have been flesh and skin, is just smooth iron. The entire left hemisphere of the skull has been replaced. It runs from there down to here. There is no skin there. As she moves, there's this unnatural rigidity to her features, as only half of her mouth actually moves in any direction. The stripe of blonde hair that she always has had only pierces from that right-hand side now, almost as if she's got a shaved head on the left hand, but of course, metal. Her lips are scarred with numerous small cuts that have all formed over with metal scabs. The same runs down her neck. You can see points of it poking out from under the gorget. There are long lines of metal veins that just run out into her chest and just kind of vanish between the hem of her shirt. Her left hand, both her thumb and 2 fingers have been changed, are now completely metal, but they move. And again, in numerous spots and instances, you can see heavy wounds that have just scabbed over with iron. As the two of you just look at one another, barely recognizing each other, Edelyn, you see 2 more figures step in to dressed as wardens. They're just kind of sidling next to Jack. Burton, Florance, over to you.
Hello.
Immediately, this very tall, blonde-haired person in this great coat, like, takes a half step forward, like, almost reaching out, and then, like, remembers what just didn't work, and howdy, and looks at Florance, and Florance knows they don't like seeing someone up there like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't like being up here, but circumstances.
Did they let you out? No, wait. We've only got. Kanehurst says we only have 10 minutes with you. Jack, she's your friend. We need to figure a way to get her out of this. Oh, no.
While they're talking, I'm looking her over and trying to make any sense I can, recall anything I can out of this, but staying quiet because this is Jack's show.
Is this... What? What do you... What's... You would... You're... Well...
So you saw the aftermath of the fight then, I guess?
Well, I wouldn't really call it a fight.
I'm trying to keep a bit of dignity there.
Well, yeah, sorry. Shit. Oh.
You know me, Jack. Dying never really seems to stick. I'm guessing he's going to use you as a way to get information out of me.
I've told him what I know, and that's not an awful lot. So I can't.
I mean, I don't know why he thinks I know more. I mean,
Well,
especially since I've been here.
as far as he's known, whatever's going on with you and the silvery stuff, he knows nothing about, and that's what I think. That's ultimately what he wants, and what they want to know is was there anything in West, any legends about this? Just fucking fairy tales, silver blood people. Like what the?
Jack,
Yeah, there were
you're a literal flower person.
Point, but point taken. What is it? Like,
Look, you've known me for as long as this has been happening. I don't know what this is.
I don't. This. I just.
If you know anything, then is there anything we can do to help you, ma'am? We're wardens. We're not with the Inquisition. We're helping Jack.
You can convince him to let me go back home, then that would be great. There's no point in me staying here. I just want to go back home to East.
We're going to try to set things right, and maybe that'll.
Maybe we can try and cut a deal that you look in West in the monasteries for anything that relates to this and funnel it back.
I mean, I doubt I'll be allowed back in the monasteries, but could always help.
But can always give it a go. I mean, you know nothing, and you're not going to learn anything more strapped up there, are you? Oh, God.
Do you mind if I just give you a step a little closer, take a look, see if I...
Go ahead.
Thank you. And yeah, Burton's going to walk up and try to... Whatever I need to try to make any sense out of this. I don't know if I've got it, but I'm going to try.
The cell itself is actually unlocked. You get the impression there's no particular need for it at this point. You swing the door open and it just slowly moves. It's easily shifts. You take a single step in and there's almost this disturbance of dust on the ground that pops up, and I have stopped the timer as I'm talking for a while. That would be overtly cool.
Walks for 10 minutes, time's up, done.
Oh.
You take a couple of steps towards Edelyn, and in the gaslight, you get more and more of a view of her features on the deep pitted nature of the ironwork that seems to just be running along her. The closer you get, you realize how detailed it is. It is rather than just a singular clean slate of metal. It is pitted and twisted in the same manner that one would imagine human skin. The portion across her face, as you bring the light up, it follows the ridges of the features. It perfectly mimics them.
I'm sure this isn't appropriate in this moment, but you really are working hard.
That's the first time I've ever been referred to as that with this, but thanks.
Is there anything you particularly like to try?
I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything I might know from any of my training studies.
You have heard of channelers that can manipulate metals, that can reform things upon themselves, but never with a degree of permanence. You're looking at her and trying to determine if this is channel, if there is anything, but the first thing that comes to your mind is you're a channel. You know how it feels to move energy, to draw power from the world around you and push it through yourself to gain something. Everything becomes cold, dark. You are literally draining the energy from somewhere. All matter has to be generated from something. There is no air of that here. She simply exists. You would almost go as far as saying that there's nothing magical about her. She's just wrong somehow.
Were you always able to do the Burton, by the way? Hi.
Edelyn, and no, this is this is still somewhat new.
Is it common back east?
I mean, there were stories, there were legends back from where I'm from of people who not doing what I can do, but similar to what I see now to have, and I just didn't really think didn't really think I'd be one of the people to have it now, so.
I know you don't know me from anyone, and there's no reason to trust me, but if we might be able to help you, but it's gonna require you working with some folk I feel like you don't really want to work with or for. What's it worth to you to get out of here?
It's worth everything. Just, what do you need?
Going to try to talk to folks. That's all I can do. This is out of my chain of command, but I looks back at Jack because
we're gonna. All I can think of right now is you're not useful. They ultimately want a use out of this, and you want to go home, and we can do both of that. We can.
they want to
maybe
save Sam.
I just want to keep him safe, and you
So
know I want the same.
He's safe. He's at least not on the boat, right?
He's not with us. Sybil and the rest have him.
You have survived?
From what I saw, and from what they're still pursuing, so they're going.
At least they got out. Makes the 5 seconds I tried to be a hero seem a bit better now, so. Yeah, but look, I'll be honest, I've kind of exhausted all my other options, and I'm too down on myself to give a damn about my own loyalty, so whatever you need, I'll do. If they'll let me. I know it's
I'll
not up
try
to you
and
guys.
work something out with them. At the very least, I'm on a talking basis with I'm on a talking basis, at the very least.
Yeah,
You
that's
can still talk. Yep.
So, I'll just do what I can for you. And
There's going to be good options, but there's better options than where you are, and I'm mighty sorry that this is where you are.
Yeah, well, life throws its curveballs sometimes, I guess, so,
that it does.
We got a pretty big curveball, but we'll do what we can to get you out of there.
Yes. Oh, God.
They're going to step back and just, Jack, do you want to,
I'm just gonna give you a hug. I don't care that you can't hug back. You're about the right height for it at this point, so.
Yeah, that's.
Hell, I thought you. Okay.
You grip her tightly. You don't quite know your own strength at this point.
Oh, God.
And it's not exactly an easy thing to do, as she is bolted to the wall and can't actually move in any way. So it's more of a you just kind of press as best as you can in a gentle manner.
Pat, pat, pat.
careful that comes.
There is a moment. As you come into contact with her, there is a moment. Edelyn, from when Canehurst came in, you started to feel the mask take its effect.
Mm-hmm.
You felt the metal liquefying, you felt old wounds reopening, and as you lie here now, you can still feel small trickles of silver blood breaking through the reforming metal around your neck. The gorget is actually compressing slightly, so it makes that reformation you normally have take longer.
Okay.
As Jack comes in close to you, a trickle of that blood runs down. Jack, you bring in close, you hold Edelyn, and as you do, you can just smell something. The scent of silver and mercury light fills your nostrils. And there is a trilling that starts to fill the air. It's audible to everyone in the room. Your coat distorts, and the stones on your body begin to twist and pull as the poppies and the flowers begin to just break free. Immediately you see the ends of tendrils shaking violently. The poppies are bursting into life. And you just kind of hold there for a second. Your arms begin to be enraptured by these vines that start to pour out and run up your hands, wrapping up across your fingers and just obfuscating any instance of flesh that's apparent. You cannot move.
Oh,
You
fuck.
try to pull and you realize the vines are stronger than you are.
Go fuck.
Fuck.
Get me off, get me off, get me off!
Start
Can I
to-
whip out the knife and start chopping?
Yeah, I was gonna get my knife out and do a little
Again?
bit of hack and slash.
Not the first time.
The
Florence,
two of you
Sorry, Jack.
immediately draw blades and just start moving towards him, grabbing his arms and trying to just rapidly saw off as many vines as you can. You cut swabs off of the arms, and as you do, you don't quite notice a single selection of white vines breaking from the inside of his shirt. They tear their way free
Oh,
and
God.
just slowly move up, running along Edelyn and landing just where the blood starts to drip down.
Oh, God.
I get this. No,
I do not want this!
No,
I do
no,
not
thank
want
you.
this!
Can she be beheaded?
There is
No.
a horrifying sound of trilling. It grows and louder and louder and louder. The vines redouble. They wrap around Jack and start pulling him to one side. They start to harden. Your blade.
Kanehurst, we need your helmet. Please
Kanehurst!
get in here. Bring your helmet. Get
I
it.
never thought I'd say this. Yes,
Not the helmet.
You start to
sorry.
bellow. You can hear your voices starting to carry, and it is instant too late. The vine touches the blood.
Fuck. Oh, fuck.
Jack, you feel it move. You feel it pulsate into you. You feel yourself start to drink from Edelyn.
It's not gonna work, but can I try to cast counterspell?
There's no
Something.
magic in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck!
Oh,
You immediately start murmuring and trying to pull energy towards you. You can. Kanehurst is out of the room, and you feel it moving, starting to coalesce, but there's nothing for it to grab against, nothing for you to tear away. The blood is drained into the vines, and you watch as a sickly purple starts to build along the green and just start rushing down towards Jack's chest. You
Nice.
even watch the vines as they start to pulsate and flex and react as the vine continues to channel up, following the blood, worming its way under the gauntlet
no.
or the wound in the throat.
Get it away from her!
Can I slap a hand on her and cast a heal?
You can. You slam your hand down, make a flip for me as you hear footsteps rapidly approaching.
That's a 13 plus whatever I got in. Enchantment is, sorry.
Still trying to
enchantment
cut
is charm, so 16.
That does it. Flip
Okay.
to see how much you heal.
That's a 2, so that's 1. Actually, fuck it. Cheat. Is it 8? Does 8 get me 2? Okay.
It goes shoot. It's half.
Oh god.
You slam your hand onto Edlin and send a pulse of just energy through the body, enough trying to just reknit any wounds you can find. Immediately you feel a huge rupture in her neck, one that just opens her body to invasion. And as you start to feel the wound closing around it, it's almost as if you can feel it through your hands. You can also sense the vine that is driving its way through the gap and heading down, pushing through into the body, down, following the veins themselves. It is traveling down the artery, driving towards her heart.
Florance, cut that.
Okay, I'm on it.
Yeah, the big one in the middle.
I'm trying.
Oh my god!
I tried to
There's a lot of them.
I just wanted to give my friend a hug.
There's just so much shouting happening.
Loud noises!
Florance, make me a melee check. I need I'm gonna say a 10. Don't miss.
I don't have any melee. Can I shoot at it with an arrow instead? I'm good at archery.
Shall I go break into my emergency supply of wine right now, or should I just wait for a second?
Yes, immediately.
I wouldn't advise shooting it, because from your angle it will only go in one direction after going through the vine.
Yeah. Archery stealth to see screen track notes. Doctor. Does Doctor do anything here?
I'll let you use Doctor.
I can use Doctor.
Why
Okay.
This is a surgery.
It's a surgery. Yeah, I'm
Basically
performing surgery. Okay, so
Impromptu
that's
surgery.
We're removing
That's
the
surgery.
impulsive
what
thing.
difficulty was the check?
10.
Okay, I have a 4. I just need to flip a 6.
Come on.
Just need to flip
Come
a
on.
6 and we'll be fine. It will be a-okay. And that's a 5, but I can cheat. So I
Wait, but you
perform
get
a
your doctor.
success. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, go. Oh,
What? I'm cheating.
success. Yes.
Fire will,
It's a
fire will.
success.
Oh my god.
Success.
What's your total?
Oh, 10 plus 4 is a 14.
Cool. King
Isn't it-
is 13.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
I
a
think-
13. Sorry, yeah, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17! I'm really good at surgery. I'm so good
critical
at it.
success.
Woohoo!
You snap out, running the blade up and along the vine, trying to sever it. The first cut just slides off. It is, for lack of a better word, too slick. Your blade doesn't catch any purchase, so you try it again, heading along the same wound you just made, and sever it. However, there is an instance, Jack, a singular moment, where I need, very nicely, for both Kay and Lynn to turn off their audio if possible.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay.
Oh god.
Okay.
Oh god.
Oh, wait. There's actually an off button for these. 1 second.
Oh,
That would also help.
But I can still hear.
Can you still hear
Hi,
me?
Lynn. Miss you, Lynn.
No.
I don't think she heard that. Oh,
Hey.
I never said that. If she never till I said that.
In the instance before that vine is cut, it reaches your heart. Jack, you drink deeply. A torrent of silver blood pumps into your body, starts to run through you, and you can feel it being devoured by the system that exists within your body. It is enervating, it is energizing, it is horrifying and blissful and awful all at the same time. And it is rapturous. Your eyes widen as your gaze clutches that of Edlin's, and for a moment you both see into whatever it is that lingers on the other side of her eyelids when she sleeps. Jack, you stand on a blackened shore. You can feel the sand beneath your feet. You can see endless plains of black stone. in front of you. In every direction, the stone pierces upwards, and it takes you a moment to realize what it is. They are the twisted, screaming forms of men, women, children, pulling away from the water. The empty hollows of what should be their eyes, their mouths twisted into a scream that never quite made it past their lips. And beyond them, you can see the plains and the mountains, and far, far in the distance, you can see it, the spire, the singular spire of Chalice, in the middle, piercing the country and erupting out towards the skies, the spire of Bay. And as you look towards it, you're aware of how unalone you feel. You can feel yourself spreading through the nation. You can feel your roots digging deep and far, and you can feel them touching the tower. And everything that once could be, will be, in Chalice exists within you. And the only thing that snaps you from that is when a metal hand falls on your shoulder. Your eyes blink, you twist, and you are pulled to one side when you see a woman stood, her entire body coated in metal. Her eyes, the only unblemished portion, deep, piercing eyes, Edelyn's eyes. You can meet your gaze with hers for a moment, and you both stand there. Edelyn, beyond him, beyond the many-handed thing that torrents itself across the land and chases you down every time you close your eyes, is the first time you've ever seen anyone else here. Least of all, Jack. His body is unknown to you, but you know his eyes. You will always know his eyes. He is rooted to the ground, literally rooted to the ground. You can see great red and purple and silver vines and flowers that draw out of the earth through the sand at his feet and embed themselves into his naked form, masking whatever he is. And you just stand there together. You have one action.
I don't know what to do.
Jack?
So much to take in just there.
And it's as that, the two of you simply stand there in silence and look at one another, when there is a sudden slice, a sound of something tearing the blade, cutting through all of existence, as your eyes blink, and you find yourselves once again stood in the cells. And we'll get everyone else back.
I'm sure we missed
Hello
nothing
again.
important. They had tea and scones.
Where did
Yeah,
it-
you missed you missed my birthday party. How
Where
dare
did
you?
the unicorns come from?
See,
I thought the
sunshine and
unicorns were
rainbows. I
present with
said
it.
before we started streaming,
I
it'd be
would
all
love to
sunshine
meet
and
a
rainbows.
unicorn.
The unicorns were stabbing me with knives, not
That's
their
a very nice
horns.
unicorn.
I know.
The unicorns were great to me. It was the monkeys I didn't like.
That
Florence.
tracks for a monkey.
Yep.
You sever the vine, and as you cut it, there is a small burst of silvery blood that flies from either end, as if you were cutting a capillary vein that spires across, and you watch the vein shudder and shake before retracting. Immediately as the point of the connection breaks, the rest of the vines and the flowers and growths across Jack's form start to retreat back into him. Even more so as you hear the heavy footfalls and onrushing pressure for yourself, Burton, for Jack, for Evelyn, as Canehurst twists around the corner. You can hear the sound of his blade drawing from the scabbard as he steps forward.
Burton has been trying to push Jack back, which does no good because they are
Jack's been
string
pulling.
yeah, and they feel the pressure, and there's the relief of oh, thank the martyr. This is no. Seeing the sword come out. Nope, we're fine.
Not the sword. Not the sword. Not the sword. The sword. Just the.
You stop him, and literally at the moment where the blade is on Jack's back, ready to just sever through his spine.
Weird not magic is doing weird not magic thing. It's not magic. I tried. It's not magic. I don't. Just kind of looks between Jack and Edlin like, is everyone okay?
Yeah. Jack, you good?
Ellen?
Step back, Jack.
Was distracted.
He shifts the blade and allows you to move to his side, at which point he steps between the two of you.
What's going on with it? Is there just like a vine out of like poked out, just slothing around?
As the shirt here has just been torn open now, there was what you could see as stone is trying to reform over what are now holes in your skin. This is the first time you've really seen it. Your skin beneath the stone at this part is pockmarked with dozens, if not hundreds, of small holes that run across your body. Tryptophobia warning for those who have it.
Too late.
Yeah.
Who needs to gave the warning?
Warning.
Yeah.
Stop falling.
You can see small patches of red flesh deep within, where you can actually see through to what you very rapidly realize is pulsations of his heart. Only to be rapidly recovered by the mycelium that fills the gaps, still leaving the holes in his body as the stonework just starts sliding back into place. What happened?
I don't know.
Some things.
He hugged her, and then there were vines, and then the vines attached him to the wall, and then we cut the vines, and then there was a vine that was going from him to her, and the vine was, I don't know, I cut it, and then there was silver blood, and now we're here. I think. Yes?
Burton
I need another
backs up
drink.
as much as they can to get away from the pressure of that helmet. I don't think anyone knew what was going to happen. We learned something. No hugging. Sorry.
I'm just staring at Canehurst throughout all of this.
Got it.
Mostly because he's scary.
Same.
Your time is up. Step out, so.
Yes, sir.
She said she'd help in return for. Okay, I'm going. I'm just going to scurry out after the other two.
That's not a talk for this exact moment.
No, I'm sorry. Hey.
Oh, so I'll wait until these three go out, and I'll just be like, "Look, I can't answer the questions you've been asking me, but I can tell you something. But please, just let me get off this boat. Let me go home. There's not much I can do anyway. I mean, I have no sword, no armor, no people, and hell, we both know how I end in a fight.
You are an unknown quantity, Edelyn Castro. You are
These-
a danger.
Well, then put me out in the field under your supervision or someone's supervision, and hell, I'll let you study this however much you want. I can't be in this boat any longer, Kanehurst, and it's not like I'm disrespecting any loyals I have to my people.
Edelyn,
Hello.
make me a convince check.
Oh wait, no, hold on. I didn't realize I was okay. Give me 2 seconds to get the cards up. I didn't realize I'd have to make a card check. Oh shit! I don't.
3 cards.
I could flip one for you.
No, wait. Give me 2 seconds. Someone stall while I find the thing. I'm panicking.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Chalice, where we all become absolutely mortified, and Ben now has to pay for all our therapy.
Oh, I
can
don't even have a
afford that.
character. I don't even have a character sheet. I can't even cheat. Oh, never mind. We'll deal with this.
Use whatever deck you use for your other character, not dropping
Oh.
names.
Oh, no,
What
and
of
we will
what other
give you
character?
a +3 bonus.
Ooh, cool. Okay. Get the other sheet up then. Lets me into a roll 20.
Wait, you play another character?
No.
Oh, shock.
Are you?
Are you allowed? Isn't that
Are
a
you-
No.
I'm pretty
no.
sure that the rules of TTRPG say you can only play one character at a time in your entire life.
It is true.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
Only about
There's
this
no.
character.
There is no other character. I don't know what you're on about. Ben's just making absolute lies up.
Oh, again?
Yeah. Oh my god, computer, please hurry the flip up.
I mean, Ben's been swearing all day. I'm sure you can join in.
Yeah.
If you so desire.
You do have free reign. I opened that door pretty bloody fast.
Hurry the fuck up, computer!
Right, so why are you okay? I seem to have I'm just gonna can I use someone else's free cards? Because I've lost my actual cards, but I will pull from this deck here.
Don't you
Yes,
worry.
that's fine.
I say I lost. They were on my desk and now they're not, and now I feel like an absolute idiot. So I do apologize because I'm holding this up.
That'll be something.
You have a +3
+3 to
to your convince. You need
Yeah.
a 16.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Oh.
not 20.
You
What's the charm?
2.
What's the charm?
I mean, I've met Edelyn. I really want to say 0, but
I'm like a -2 to all fight skills, yeah.
Not even.
we'll say 1. And due to the 3 successful instances of certain people in this room reading
Mm-hmm.
and pushing Kanehurst's opinion in certain directions, I will give you 3 additional card draws. And you take the highest.
Cool.
Oh
cool.
my god.
Just don't do a me. Just don't do a me.
Yeah, just don't somehow draw 4 5s.
Yeah, but say if the Eddie curse comes back, I'm actually gonna I might flip my table.
I will find it most humorous. You know,
I will. Okay. So I get to draw a total of 3 cards and the highest wins, plus a 3 to convince. Okay.
yes.
Okay, that's a 9,
9,
7, and a 13. I'm not even kidding. My last card was a 13.
Yes! Kanehurst is really easily convinced today.
Kanehurst just loves us. We just got so. Kanehurst
best
got a
friends
soft
now.
shot. Yeah.
He don't drink, so I'm gonna have to make him a pie.
Canon. Kanehurst is my friend.
Can I,
Our
The people who are
we
also-
would have got to this stage.
Let's not put labels on it, Jago.
Oh my
Can
god,
you-
can you let me braid his hair? Because I
Can you
love
other-
his hair.
can the other players please confirm that I am reading that as a 13? Because
That is a
It's a 13.
13.
That is
Okay,
a
cool.
13 of
I was
tones.
scared that my eyes were deceiving me there for a second.
Florance, Burton, Jack. You walk out. You are fairly unsubtly directed back to the deck of the ship. You step back into the clean, crisp air of the inner sea, and you realize that the ship has moved in the time you've been below deck. You've pulled away from the cargo vessel. The Biscuit is still moored to your vessel. You can see Sergeant Purcell at its helm, just keeping it alongside you. But by no means is that the most immediate thing that catches your eye. That is the glowing red and orange lights that dance across the surface of the ocean. As at some distance you can see the cargo vessel in flames. The entire ruin of it now engulfed by licking orange fire that devour and just decimate it. Jack, it almost doesn't exist to you at this point. Your mind is running through a few different things. Every instance of what you just saw will not shift from your mind. And as Burton and Florance stand there, they're looking out at flames. It's just the most immediate thing to catch their attention. You have a moment. Is there anything you would like to do or say?
That went to shit.
Yep. And there goes all that wine. I realise we need to draw to a close, but I really want to ask Burton about the helmet. So can I save that for next session?
We're gonna have a talk. Don't worry.
We're gonna have a talk. Okay, we'll have a talk next session.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say, Jack?
I think Burton's gonna look over, kind of put a hand on his arm again, and be like, "I'm real sorry that didn't go nice. You okay?"
What's gonna happen to me? What the fuck is happening to me?
I don't know.
It's not. I know this isn't comfort. It's not magic like normal. This is.
I don't even
uncharted
know.
waters.
I don't even know if I'm me anymore. There is nothing human underneath anymore.
There's a talk we need to have, but there's those vines are trying to take. They've got a consciousness, and they're trying to.
There's something else in me. Yeah.
As you talk, the door behind you to the lower decks opens. You see Kanehurst's form stalk out. The helmet has been removed and is walking with his blade strapped across his side. He glances up at each of you, just standing, blocking any visibility into the hallway behind him. What happened?
No.
Speak plainly.
There was some kind of pull between that silver she had and those vines, and we started to cut them loose, and it went into her, and we stopped it with the helmet helped.
They were drinking the blood. The silver, if that's what it was, the silver liquid. That's what it was after. I didn't know that. I didn't know it would happen.
He turns.
I'll attest to that. They had both seemed completely shocked.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted it to stop. He was trying to pull away.
Mm-hmm. He just wanted to give her a hug.
Naviro. He turns and shouts across the deck. You hear a response. Inquisitor? The tall, bold man with the gauntlets walks across the deck, rapidly moving to heed Kanehurst's summons. You are to travel with the Wardens. Watch them, help them. Keep an eye on him. Warden investigators Florance and Burton, you have my assistance through a hand I control. I trust you to fulfill the duties that we are required to fulfill for Chalice. And you feel an intense weight coming through in the next series of words. I release my prisoner into your care. Do not fail.
We won't, sir.
At which
We are
point,
wardens.
Thank you.
If she's our ward, we'll protect her.
see that you do. At which point, he steps to one side, revealing stood just behind him, the shackles removed for the first time in about a week. Edelyn Castro. Free once again. And at that point, we say goodnight and goodbye for this week. And thank you very much for holding with us over this very chatty day. So,
Welcome to the party.
Can I cry? Is it acceptable to cry?
No.
I do have to make you pick which character you prefer playing, and they'll kill the other one off, but you know.
Well, let's see. Who do I have more emotional?
I mean, I cried when you died, so if you're crying at the fact that you're now back with us again, I'll call it
Yeah.
even.
Oh my lord.
Before we get very emotional, we're going to say goodnight and goodbye and run around the houses, say who we are, and then say goodbye for a whole week and a bit until we come back with the other team and then back with these lovely folks. So we've ended each and every time with Kay, so we'll start with Kay.
Hey, well, I am Kay Purcell. I do video games by day and TTRPG stuff every free chance I get. Outside of that, normally I would say go over to Goblin Cave TV and watch me where I'm playing a My Little Pony tiefling in a circus game. But that just canceled in the middle of the take off your headphones. So not this week, but in the future you can find me there. Every Tuesday you can find me. I've been in chat as Cataclysm Presents. Find me over there for the Tuesday talk show. And tomorrow I am streaming Ooblets because it is one of my favorite games. It's just coming out on Steam. I got to both alpha and beta test it, and I can't wait to get back into Batchtown. Yeah, there's Emergency Power Podcast every other Wednesday. Starfinder. Yay, I'm done.
Thank you very much. Lynn.
Hi.
That one.
Lynn, you had to think. My name is 3 letters long, and you had to think about it. Jesus.
But so is mine, and it escapes me.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm also known as Pantufalzar or Pontufa if you're feeling fancy. I've been in chat this evening alongside playing Florance. I also stream art. We're currently working through Streaming 2023 with a few select prompts, so if you want to get involved with that, there's a load of other Twitch artists as well. If you want to click on my name, give me a follow, find the artists, give them a follow. It's a bit like Inktober, but more fun, I think. Aside from that, which is pretty watercolors, I also draw gritty dystopian cyberpunk futurescape things. So if that's also up your alley, yeah, feel free to join in.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And you know, you got me at gritty and dystopian, and then you said cyberpunk. I was like, oh no, that's not this.
Hey, I love cyberpunk.
I also love cyberpunk as well.
Oh, good. Good.
That sounds great.
And whoever you are, oh yeah, Juicy Jago.
Hello, is me, the Juice Master, apparently now. Hi, I'm Jago. This is my thing. I don't do much on the internet outside of this, so yeah, it's good. I don't have the words.
Thank you. It's all good, Juicy Boy. It's fine. And, you know, for the first time, well, no, the second time, but this time not in chains. Hey, Holly, who are you?
Hello, I'm Holly, and once again I played Edelyn, which is still so fucking weird to say because she was beheaded. I keep invading. I don't know what group I am anymore. I don't know who I am anymore. I just know that I somehow managed to talk my way out of this. And I'm also going to thank these people because I feel like if it wasn't for them, I would not be here. So it's been a pleasure being to get to eavesdrop to drop in every now and again to your group, and I hope this sticks because I like the dynamic that's happening, and I want to ruin it tremendously.
No
Wow.
hugging.
None
No,
of that.
apparently
No hugging.
No.
not
Goofy.
allowed.
I'm me. I'm Ben. Hi. I am here, and when I'm not here, I work for Modifius and I make RPGs and stuff. It's cool. All the fun bits. Yeah, with as much enthusiasm as my voice is carrying right now. And you know what? I'm not going to sign off for me. I'm going to sign off for our good friend who lurks in the background. I can tell he's tensing up at this already, and he may cut me off. Because thank you, D-Dog. Thank you so much, D-Dog. We'll see you all next time. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Let's go! It's your boy.